Okay, we should be live now. Okay, for today's stream, I just want to quickly take these cards right here and throw it in this book right here. And for those who don't know what these cards are, they are cards from the very old Pikmin 2 era in like 2004 with the e-reader, which allows you to play some puzzle games on the Game Boy Advance. And I want to talk a bit about the cards themselves. The first off is a Olimar. And interesting about this card is on the back, the same with the other characters, is there are 3 Pikmin with the flower, bulb and leaf on top. And something else that's interesting about this book is instead of having the cards go on top, they placed on the side like so. It's a bit not weird, but it's a different way than this book right here, which does have the cards go from on top instead. Next up we have Chacho, or President, as he's called. One of the funniest characters that really should make a return. And it's disappointing that he hasn't returned since the second game, aside from a couple references here and there. And of course you have Louis. No, something that I just noticed is that with the 3 characters, you have the Japanese name on top and their English name on the side, which is different from all the other characters which does not have the English name. Olimar, Louis, and the President. If I can get Louis' card inside. Next up, you have the 3 main Pikmins. These does not include the 2 new ones from Pikmin 2. No white or purple. I don't think there is a white or purple Pikmin card either, which is strange. But as I mentioned before, this one only has 1 Pikmin on the back. Interesting, as the characters have 3 Pikmins on the back, but you should see with the yellow Pikmin card. Something else to note is these characters, the Olimar, President and Louis, are not numbered. They don't have a number onto them, but every other card does, sort of. The Pikmin don't. Their number is, if it focuses, 0, 0. And that counts for all of the 3 Pikmin 0, 0 and 0. The camera doesn't focus too well, but those are 2 zeros on the back. And I'll quickly put them back in. I will show the full book afterwards. And next up we have the billboards. The red spotted billboard, the standard one, the one we all know and love. The snow one, the one that kind of only appears in Pikmin 2 and is also the weakest of the bunch. You know, this guy, by the way, is super underutilized. You can also see the number 2, as I mentioned earlier. They are numbered. And by underutilized, I mean they were only used like a couple times in the game and not even in the intro. Which is weird because they are the weakest billboard in the game. And then there's the orange billboard. This guy is terrifying once you wake them up, but also not too difficult to deal with, at least compared to the billboard. They are fine. It's a bit difficult to get the cards in because I have to put the cards on top of one another, since I counted the pages, and there's exactly half the pages I need, which is a problem because that means that I have to place the cards on top of one another, which I don't have to do with this more proper book, which are double-sided on this side and on the back side and front side. But speaking of billboards, these, I'm pretty sure these aren't billboards, these are bread box. The main difference being they are smaller and die in like a single hit. Number 4 is the red one. 5, the snowy one but without the hair. And 6, the yellow one. You may have noticed that they also come in colored cards, red, yellow and blue. This relates to the packs they were originally in, which I will show a bit later, the packs. But first, let me place the cards inside here. Now I don't remember every single enemy name, so forgive me for that. And my Japanese, well, I can read some katakana. It doesn't help if I'm talking primarily in English names. Let's see the stream. I did put on public rights. Yep. I'm assuming that Pikmin cards may not be the most interesting off-stream subjects for most, but it's something I want to talk about. Next up is, as I mentioned earlier, the billboards. Not the billboard, the bulb bear. These are super terrifying kinds of billboards because they can, unlike the other that mostly only eat one Pikmin at a time, these can eat multiple at once and they walk around hunting you down, which is super annoying and super scary. Especially in I think in Pikmin 2 they also regenerate if they die, so you cannot really waste time to just killing them and then leaving them there. the smaller version of the Bill Bears. I think they are also bread box, but I'm not sure. And I will talk about bread box once we get there. And we have the children version, the little guys there, when they are still infants. These by themselves are nothing too crazy, as they die in like one hit. But what makes them difficult is they come in like 1,000 together. Well, you have to fight a boss battle. The boss will be this, by the way, this one. But before that, we have the fiery Bill Blacks, I think, and the water temple. I forgot the name of this guy. I will mention this in a bit. This right there is the fiery Bill Blacks, number 10. And his gimmick is that he is on fire. That's the only thing worth noting. But that also means that the only Pikmin that can really damage him effectively is the red Pikmin, since reds are fire resistant. But we're talking about Pikmin 2, and if you know what you're doing, then purples are even better to deal with them. The water enemies, these are Bulbarbs that appear in water. They don't look like it, but they are Bulbarbs. It's strange. And then we have possibly my favorite of the Bulborb family, the Bulbmins. These are Bulbarbs that been parasitized by Pikmin, allowing you to control the smaller guys after you've defeated the big one. And that's unfortunately you cannot keep those Bulbmin in your party. They only exist in the caves, and they also only exist in Pikmin 2. I really wish they returned in a Pikmin 4. Then they had perfect chance to do so, but instead they had those glow Pikmin. Oh well. And speaking of the boss battles, first we have the Emperor Bulblax. This is the king of all Bulborbs. But this is the Pikmin 2 version. That means he's super weak compared to the Pikmin 1 version. I think they renamed the Pikmin 1 version to the Sovereign Bulblax, so there's a distinction between the two. And then we have the Empress Bulblax, I think, or the Bulborb. The Empress, she's the one that makes the boss battle, that makes those one babies I mentioned before. But that's only one version of the boss. There's a version that doesn't make babies during the battle, and there's a version that does. The version that does is, of course, extra difficult. Next up we have the fiery Blowhawk and the watery Blowhawk. These are basically like little pig-like creatures that shoot fire and water respectively. Number 15 and 16. I have 60 cars to go through, so this will be like a super long, probably like 2-hour stream, or maybe one if I go through it pretty quickly. Next up we have I forgot the name. These guys, cannon beetle larvae, are the larvae, the child version of the cannon beetle, but I'm pretty sure the cannon beetle don't even appear in this Pikmin 2. Cannon beetles were an enemy in Pikmin 1, a boss enemy. And it's a bit strange they didn't appear in 2. We have another version of the blowhawk. This is the floating blowhawk. Not the floating blowhawk. Forgot the actual name. But their gimmick is that they float in the air and shoot, and when they blow, instead of fire or water, they shoot all your Pikmin away, making it very annoying to trying to strategize. But they don't really damage your Pikmin, but if your Pikmin are close to potential danger, then they can be super annoying. This is basically the same enemy, but in orange. That's the only thing I have to say. And they also are exclusive to Pikmin 2, I think. I don't quite understand why it didn't return in R4. And then there's probably one of the most famous Pikmin 2 standard enemies. The Gatling Groink. Number 20. They are basically like walking goldfish with a gun on their head. They're basically like walking things. It's weird to think that that enemy exists in Pikmin game. We have I don't know the name, Electricity Beetle or something. They're basically like ladybugs that use electricity powers, and yellow Pikmin are the only ones that can handle them. Speaking of beetles, we have the golden beetle and the stinky beetle. This is the golden, got the name. Unfortunately it doesn't have the English name on the card, so. But they aren't really enemies, they are more like little treasures. If you hit them, you get, I think you get juice, so your Piglins get stronger. And these guys are just like the gold version, but they use poison, so they can kill your Pikmin except the white ones. And you have to be very careful with them. And now I want to talk about something interesting. This card right here, or the lack thereof. Because there are in total 72 cards, but 6 of them are super impossible to find. And those 6, a few that will come later, I don't have. And I probably also will never have. But continuing on, this is the water enemy from the Blue Pikmin series, by the way. I forgot their names, that's the problem. But they primarily appear in water, I think. And this is the beetle that pierces you. I also don't know their actual name. They can be a bit tough to kill because they have a shell that the Pikmin cannot hurt, and they can only hurt from the front. In later games he did reappear, but the weak point is on the back, I think, which is a weird evolution. And this is a Pikmin 2 exclusive enemy. These guys are some of the most annoying things in the game. When you want to farm berries, they come in and completely ruin your day. But they are also optional since you technically don't need berries. This, I think, the lobster, the segmented lobster. They are a boss battle that, fun fact, only targets the captains, I think. And they are also super dangerous if you want to keep your Pikmin safe, because they make rock spawn from the top. And that almost killed my own entire squad when I played Pikmin 2 many years ago in that one cave. It is the inferior version of the beady long legs. I say inferior because the Pikmin 1 version is way better. You know, I really miss beady though. Nowadays you have the baldy and groovy long legs, and the baldy and the hairy long legs. What happened to Beatty? Beatty is the OG long legs, and he's not in the modern games, not in post 2. That's the first of the spider, the Beatties. Second we have the... I forgot his name. But this guy has super big feet and can very easily kill your squad if you keep them too close together. He isn't too difficult of a boss, but you still have to be very careful. And then you have one of my favorite enemies, the man as legs. It's basically a big spider with a gun. With a machine gun for no reason. Okay, now we have, I don't know the name of these guys. Like I said, there are many characters I don't know the names of. These, I'm pretty sure they don't hurt the Pikmin, they don't attack them. But Pikmin are very scared of them, and whenever they appear, the Pikmin run around all scared. Also, something else to notice. This is the halfway point of the book. That means that in 20 minutes I have reached the half. And also another thing to notice. Originally the opening is on this side and not on this side. Here's the opening. But on this half the opening is on this side and not on this side. So that's something I will have to think about. Next up we have the lobsters. I don't know what the name is. These are one of my least favorite enemies to deal with, mainly because they primarily appear in water, and blue Pikmin kinda suck. They kinda suck at defeating those guys. Next up we have, I think the names are the antenna beetle. These guys are some of the best enemies in the game because they pick up your Pikmin and throw them around. But that also makes them some of the most annoying enemies to deal with. But that adds to the strategy of this strategy game. You have to be careful when they are around. And these guys are the exact same, but instead of grabbing the Pikmin, they grab the captains. And that's a problem because you control the captain, and when they grab the captains you cannot control them for a moment. They could have included them in the newer games, but they gave those grabbing the captains mechanic to this enemy instead for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, next up we have also a Pikmin 2 exclusive enemy. These guys have float around with balloons and they throw bombs. They are a menace to deal with, and that makes them so awesome. I really wish they returned in future games, because the absolute chaos of bombs falling around this castle makes 2 so fun to play. Next up we have these Athena guys. Now, to understand this enemy is they don't hurt your Pikmin or the captains, but they use signals to disturb your treasure tracker, the treasure gouge, which makes it hard to see if there are treasures in the caves you're in. So it's best to deal with them even if you technically don't have to. And these are the jelly floats. They are basically jellyfish that digest your Pikmin when they are near. They are usually easy to avoid. And also, once again, card missing. That's the second of the 6 card. This is the greater. This I think is. This one was the lesser jelly float. And this is the greater jelly float. The difference being they're better. No, I think they're it's bigger. And now we have I'm only here for Pikmin. He's very well known YouTuber, making Pikmin related content, embracing Pikmin 2 all the time. And next up we have, there aren't any more of the what are they called? Beetles? I forgot their names. Regardless, this right here is the final boss battle of the Pikmin 2 game. And I think that's a bit weird because of these kinds of guys. There are multiple in different colors, but I only have this yellow one. And the boss version, of course. And then we have some of the most annoying enemies in the game. The sheer grubs. Whenever you want to build a bridge, these guys come in and completely ruin your day, snacking on Pikmins and destroying all your hard work. And also the male version of the same enemy. And also a flying version of the same enemy. Next up we have the Wally. Words Wally Wops or Wally Hops? I think they were Wops, right? These are basically the frogs, and what they do is they jump on top of your Pikmin, so they will die. Now, as you noticed, I didn't leave gaps in the collection, because I do want to use some of the pages later. Now I think about it, did I show some of the very unique exclusive cards? I don't know. Okay, these are the Snag Rats and the palliated snack rats. They are basically bird-like enemies. This one only shows its head and stays in the ground, whereas the palliated one can get out of the ground and walk around on his one foot. And he also has insane health, so it takes like forever to deal with him. Next up we have two enemies that aren't really enemies. They are similar to those beetles, more bonus things. This one gives you some honey, so your Pikmin get a bit stronger. You never technically kill them, you scare them away more or less. These are just butterflies that fly around. They don't really do anything other than do some stuff. It is interesting to note if you look closely. The Pikmin come with either leaves, bulbs, or flowers. This one comes with flower, I don't know if you can see it. Ooh, we're also almost out of pages. Just 4 left. Interesting. And that is also goes for me, by the way. This is the final page. Which is weird because I'm not even out in. I thought I'd be a longer stream than that. This is the flower. You throw Pikmin in them and then they shoot out flower. Just the purple version. The flower bot, the candy bot or something. I forgot the name. And this is the white version, but this one is also open. Oh, by the way, you may notice this one right here, which has a different background. I will show all of them, the 3 special ones, later. Oh yeah, this is also a special one, by the way. Yes, I want to show them a bit more separately to really appreciate their uniqueness. Actually, no, I think I can show them right now if I just remember which one were the special ones. I will quickly look them all because there are 3 special cards. Right. I don't need to look them up because the special card was these 2. Okay, this one has the white flower version has this on the background, where they carry some batteries, cap, and a Game Watch. This number 56 and number 55. There's a cat in the background, and Olimar, they carry some other stuff around. There being some Mahjong pieces, and it looks like paint. And my card. Plain card. And next up is the final page. Bit of a shame because I was really expecting it would be a bit longer stream, but oh well. These guys, the chrysanthemums, if you look closely, they have a mouth on top of their thing. And that's where it should be, because they did return it in Pikmin 4, this enemy, but completely ruined the guy by putting the mouth in the middle and turning him into a frog. I really dislike the Pikmin 4 version. And the thing is, it's not even that I hate the Pikmin 4 version, it's more that I don't understand why they couldn't just have made them into a separate enemy with a different name. These are scatter leaves. They don't really attack Pikmin, I think they just kind of run around. You can kill them and get the leaves from them. And now we get to the two bread bugs I was talking about. Now if we go back to the very beginning, I don't understand why the bread bugs are so far in at 60 and 61. But if we go back to the beginning, I mentioned you have these baby versions, the small versions. These are bread bugs, as in they are not the same as these bigger versions of the billboards. They are not billboards. They are closer to this guy. It's called a bread bug because it looks like a piece of loaf of bread. It is interesting because this guy originally came in Pikmin 1 as like a one-time enemy that you can optionally kill. But technically don't have to if you want to beat the game, but have to if you want to 100% the game. This is the bigger version of the bread bug, and it looks even more like a loaf of bread. And they're also super difficult to kill. You have to either use purples or carry them back to the ship. I am so thankful they returned them in the Pikmin 4 though, because they were really lacking in Pikmin 3. This is the Mamuta. You know, speaking of the Mamuta, something I don't understand about Pikmin 2 is why is there no what's that enemy name's called? Fuck, I forgot an enemy name. Smoky Proc. Yes, did you know that Smoky Proc is a Mamuta? You probably knew that. And I don't understand why they didn't include Smoky Proc in Pikmin 2. Because I think it would have been a very cool enemy, a very cool boss to have in one of the caves. And then you have one of the most famous enemies of all time. The Water Wraith at number 63. Now what makes this enemy famous is that you cannot kill him. And you have to do his whole cave with blue Pikmin, the weakest Pikmin. And then you have to... and the whole cave through you have to worry about him appearing and potentially killing all of your Pikmin. You can only kill them once you obtain purples in the final floor. And next up you have the super famous enemies. They are very similar to these butterflies and as in these guys. As in they aren't really enemies, but if you kill them you get all kinds of juices and stuff to make your Pikmin stronger. But that's not what makes this enemy 64 so famous. It's because they only appear in one area of the game, the final area, on a super specific day, and you would never go there by accident unless you knew they appear on that specific spot on that specific day. Interestingly, however, they also appear on day 1, technically speaking, but you will never know because you will never go to that area on day 1. That is, unless you hack the game, impossible to do. And now we have 2 final cards. By the way, isn't this beautiful to see? Whole list. Pikmin 2 cards. Now we have the 2 final cards. Technically there should be 6 more cards, but I don't own those extra 6 cards. So these will be the final. These are the flowers with 10 on them. You kill them and you get 10 Pikmin, and if you bring them back to their specific color, you get double the amount. Oh, there's also a special card with a special background, with all the Pikmin of Pikmin 2 carrying some fruit. And blue is just hanging from down there. And white is not helping at all by just sitting on top, doing absolutely nothing. And it's a bit difficult to see, but in the back there's also a Bulborb eyeing its prey. And also something interesting is its color. Green. It's a green card. Unlike the other cards which are red, blue or yellow. I've even... That's something I didn't notice as well. The white one has a bit more of a purplish color, whereas the purple has more of a wood-like color, a bit sandy, to show they are not part of the standard set. And we end off with card number 66. The card that will kill all of the Jedi. Cannon Beetle. I don't know why. Because if we go back all the way to think the beginning. Yeah, here at number 17 you have the green version. I don't understand why it's not number 18 and it's all the way set to number 66 at the very end of the book. We're left with 1.5 page. I said, well, I say half, but really this page is only half empty, and then we have this page which you can fill for extra cards. And that's what I will do. I will fill these pages with a few extra cards. Because this, by the way, is the full book all filled up. Missing, of course, the 6 cards that I don't own currently. But before I will show the entire book, I will go all the way back to the beginning of this book, because there are a couple I want to talk about. Okay, these cards right here are all 3DS AR cards, as in, well, augmented reality. With them you can do some stuff on the 3DS. But 4 of these cards are Pikmin cards. That's being this one. The standard, the one that comes with every copy of the 3DS. And the ones below. I will talk about them in a bit. Okay, what you have to guess, I said this one came standard with every copy of the 3DS. So if you own a 3DS, you probably own that card that is called A6. But these three cards are interesting. They have the designs of the Pikmin 3 version of Pikmin, and you could buy them in stores back in Japan to get money for your 3DS eShop card, for your 3DS eShop. Same with these Mario versions, by the way. I have all of the Mario cards. You could buy them for some 3DS money. The red one was the least amount of money, that being 20,000 yen. The yellow one being... No wait, the yellow one is the least amount. 1,000 yen. Okay, the yellow is 1,000 yen, the red 2,000, and the green is 3,000 yen. Okay, the yellow one is the least expensive. But yeah, you could use them to get money for your Nintendo Online account. That's the only thing worth note. That's the only thing that's worth to note. I won't. This is a Pikmin 2 render, I think. I won't include them in my Pikmin book because this Pikmin card is part of this set and not really part of the Pikmin set. But I will include these Pikmin cards. And as a bonus, I've decided I will make this card visible from the back because it doesn't really matter too much. And with that, we have talked about pretty much all of the Pikmin cards that I own. With the final one, the red one is surrounded with some purple flowers, the yellow one with some white flowers, the blue one with some water lilies. Close it. Is something else to note? Yeah, there's one thing I do want. There are two things I want to note. One is the red has a leaf, the yellow a bulb, and the blue has a full flower. And the second thing I want to note is that the red and blue are standing, as the yellow is sitting casually on the mushroom. And with that, that is how thick the book is. For reference, this is the movie video obviously on DVD, and if you compare it to the Pikmin book, you will notice that the book is slightly longer, just this slightly, but it is on the width way shorter. But the spine is approximately the same. Speaking of the outside of the book, I think technically this is the back of the book, because in Japan they read from the other side, from this side. They also have the characters and the ship present in the Pikmin, whereas on this side only the ship and all the Pikmin are grounded in. So to finish it off, I will show the entirety of the book, and then I'll end the stream. Okay, first of all, and that's all of the Pikmin 2 cards and some extra. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool collection to have. It's a very small collection. The only thing that slightly bothers me is, as I said, there are 6 extra cards, but those extra 6 cards are very much impossible to find. But I hope to someday, if I ever somehow find myself getting those cards, I will get my hands on those cards. But until then, all I have to say is, I don't know, maybe I'll throw the 3DS cards in here after all, because they're just a bit smaller. They look so weird, placed a bit. I will see what I will do. How long have I been streaming? Almost an hour. Let's make it a slightly above hour, so sure, let's quickly talk. Like I said, these are the 3DS AR cards that came standard with the system. And these are same as those Pikmin cards that you can buy by buying gift cards for your Nintendo account. And I've ordered them based on a number, Mario being 1, then Goomba, then Peach, then Luigi, Koopa, and Bowser. And these are some of my old, what's it called, Kid Icarus Uprising cards from when the game just came out. And I've also a bunch of Pokemon cards. I'm not going to talk about them too much. Maybe I will mention a couple that I like in a bit. But as you can see, I have a lot of them. Now these cards, on the other hand, some of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, these are interesting to mention. Because if we take these 3, yeah, first of all we have Super Doom King, Dark Armageddon. It's a bit hard to read in the camera, but I think you know why I have that card. Then we have Super Doom King, Purple Armageddon. And lastly, the one card that that I didn't know existed until a few weeks ago. Bright Armageddon, also Super Doom King. Naturally, I just really felt the need to have these cards for quite an obvious reason. And yes, there's the Pot of Greed over here, which I just really wanted to have. These are some cards I got with some gummies or some Japanese candy, not interesting to know, and some Skylanders. And some Lego related stuff, bags. Alright, there's one thing I want to talk about. I will show. Okay, these are the original packets where all of these cards came in. This is where the original 3 captains came in. You know, Oymar, President, and Louis. Which is it's also most boring because it's see-through. But these are more interesting because they have stuff on top. Pikmin on the stages, the ship, the Pikmin ship, one of the flower, and one of the candy pop-pots. And the same goes for the yellow one. And the blue ones. Very cool to have, I think. Normally people throw away the packages, but I think some of the packages are part of what makes these cards interesting. I also have some of these Pokemon left, as you can see. Because to me it's not just about the cards themselves, but also about the presentation. Oh, it's kind of hot. The only problem is they are a bit too big for me to place them in this book, so I kind of had them on the side. But I will figure out someday how to properly store them. Overall, yeah, it still feels a bit surreal seeing all these near complete collection of trading cards right here. Let me see if which card I want to show just for funsies before I end the stream, since we're now pushing the hour mark. And also perfect time to end the stream. I hope to someday get the final 6 cards, but I don't think I ever will. Who knows, who knows. Surprisingly, these weren't that difficult to get all these cards. just the final 6 that I don't have. Oh, it's gonna suck though once I get those final 6, because then I have to reorganize everything to the back and make place for those 6 cards. But until then, I'm gonna say thanks for watching. There weren't any viewers today, but I enjoyed talking about some of my passions for a bit. Bye.